Holy moly, it's cold today, chat. Today's a very, very cold day. We're gonna move on to the programming thing. Before we do, though, I wanted to check out what the hell is in deadlock and what do you mean by people are bunny hopping and going crazy in the air? I really want to see what's possible there. Because I had no clue. Oh, mole! Oh, moly! Holy moly! I had no clue that deadlock had it. Any bunny hopping mechanics? Sorry, I'm so gassy. I've based desktop. Sorry, just I gotta show this. Someone just commented this. This is good. Just in the context of like what this is. Sorry. So as you know, my new Vim has a bunch of different images that I show. It's got all these like placeholder images that I show. So for instance, it's like I don't know. Let's just reopen it. It's changes every now and then. It's just random what I get. So I'm might get something like this, might get something like that. It's completely different every single time. I also need to update this because the mini starter that I'm using doesn't respect the remote option. So if you open an existing file, it just doesn't work. And I also need to make changes so it uses like the normal navigation to go up and down. But there's a whole bunch of images, right? So you know what this looks like. And then someone commented, sorry, just to show you the whole collection here. Also, if you have any more ASCII art that you want me to add, please let me know. So, in the farmer was replaced, right? I showed it. Look at this comment. Based desktop UI. Oh, I'm telling you, it's like clockwork. Like it's so easy to just bait goonies into commenting. Deadlock bunny hop. Let's see what this bunny hoppy thing is. Bunny hop max speed. Like how fast can someone go? Top speed. I don't give a shit about. Has nobody ever tried to get to like the top speed in this game? The fastest move speed. Why you should stop holding W? Just show me how fast you can move, okay? No, move. Okay, how about you show me? No, just show me like how fast you can possibly go. Edge boosting? The hell is? Oh, I actually know about the edge boosting. This is the edge boosting and everything else. That's the one thing that I can't do well. Oh man, people do fly in this game. I know about the melee fence jumping, or like the melee thing that you do to like get the grab onto the this wall. Is that no good video? Do you know a good video that like shows like somebody going at the max possible speed? Because the way that here it's a bit like this. CS surfing. These videos of CS surfing are insane because what they do is they surf, and is this like a good one? It's kind of. It's like getting close there. But the idea is that one, you wouldn't really see other people; you would just see them. But they would also have an indicator. I mean, this one doesn't have it actually. This one sucks. But they would have an indicator of how fast that they go. So here we go. The records channel. Okay, this one is awful because they zoomed in way too much to try to get like a smoother view to hide the UI. But see this? They would show how fast you would be going at any moment in terms of the units per second. That's what I was expecting from like the deadlock stuff. But maybe it's still too early days for people to try and make stuff like this. You remember one? Yes, please. If you can send it to me, I would love to see it. Because again, seeing the speed that people go at, and the speed that I was going at was basically nothing compared to this. So, but if you could show me that, that's what I was hoping for, to sort of see what people were doing within deadlock. Because in my mind, that's sort of what I was expecting, right? And also, this is only 5 years ago, man. I think these channels are still alive too. Like a lot of these channels, I thought they would have died because of the switch to CS2, but like look at these. People are still doing it even on Switch 1. This is 6 hours ago. What? 6 hours ago? People are still doing it. What do you know? Maybe it's just that popular. Maybe surfing is still in. And I really enjoy this type of movement that I wish other games had. Like Quake has this type of movement. Like Quake b-hopping. If you ever see like a Quake Pro match, it's actually really difficult to understand what they're doing. Like if you watch like a Quake Pro match, Quake Pro 1v1, oh, like the grand finals, yeah, like the Quake Champions grand finals, they move at such an insane speed, and their aim is absurd. Maybe it's not this one. This is definitely a slower one. The Quake Con duel. I don't know, but there's a couple of these that you can find where people really use that like max speed as well. Some of these videos are insane. I think this is it, and their aim is like on point. Like they do not miss, and they seem to know where you will be at any moment, and they use like portals and this stuff too. See that bunny hopping? How he's moving? I was expecting this level of like bunny hopping, which it is there within the game now, within Deadlock. Like if you watch like a Deadlock Pro match, the movement that they go through is actually pretty absurd. Yeah, sure. Fight night. I guess fight night's a good thing. But even then, it feels like it's still very early days for Deadlock as a whole, where we're not seeing people really getting crazy with the full movement tech yet. Because it's like if you have B hopping and you get to like top max speed, like what if somebody ganks you from their base and they're just going max speed and they yank you? You know what I mean? Like what if you're playing? What's that Robo guy's name again? I keep forgetting his name, but I hate facing him. Bebop. Imagine you're playing Bebop and you just B hop across from them and you're flying and you hook them. Like, we might be seeing some crazy moves soon, but, you know, we haven't seen it yet. Anyway, sorry. Welcome to the programming segment. Staying on just chatting, because every time I go to the programming segment, I have to, like, explain what I'm doing, and I don't know what exactly I'm doing. But I guess that's a good intro, because programming a game is a bit also, like, we have to figure out exactly what we're making, and a bit of what we're making is kind of related to the idea of movement tech in general, but I don't know how far to go with it. So, last time when we started this, and this is related to the goal that I have within the Discord channel, within the accountability circle, which everyone please do think about your accountability circle stuff, because again, it helps somebody save their PC from a virus. You're welcome. We also need some music actually. Just give me a second. I need like, I don't know, like less sad music, maybe like this. Yeah, that's good. When I put one of my goals was to try and make it so that I could actually have a game done, because we always talk about making a game on stream, and I always say that streaming on that programming on stream is impossible. So it's a bit of a 50-50 of like, okay, well, which side will win and how far can you take the concept? And it's this idea of like all these shitty games I keep thinking of that I can never think of sort of the end game of these games, and sort of the way that they can be like a full experience. It's a lot of like small mechanics ideas that I think about that I'm like, I have no clue what to do with this, you know? Because I'm not creative enough to do something like Biolenja, where Biolenja feels like they took the mechanic of your bunny hopping, you have the ambiotic blade, you have the cannon with all the bullets that you can shoot out, and then it's just pure movement, but they've somehow made a whole game out of it. I don't think I have the ability to do something like that for a lot of these ideas. And we were going to do it last time when we were programming the VR chat, but that thing ended up killing my PC and moving everything down to like 5 FPS. Then we need to get this done because we only have about 6 days before, you know, we consider my goals done. I know for sure that the VR chat Christmas World thing is not going to be finished, but I do have an idea of what I want to do for that one. So imagine that this goal is dead, okay? But we have to get at least one of these goals done, along with these other two, which are already done, to consider my week a success. So that's why we're here. We're going to get this game idea done. Now, let me go back to my Gunnar Neovem. Welcome, Gunnar. Last time when I was trying to explain it, I was also in the middle of like being in 5 FPS, and also it was just a terrible time because we were trying to figure out how to get it to even show up on screen, how you can see the code and all that other good stuff. It just wasn't good. So instead, let me just re-explain what we're going to be doing. Chat had a wonderful idea at some point in the Discord. If I could find where it is in the Discord. Sorry, just give me a second. When I was like, there's a lot of really cool game ideas that I have, but I don't know how to make it, you know, something good. Where is it again? Where is it? I think it was Maddock. I'm pretty sure Maddock. Here we go. And I was like, oh my god, you're right. Paperboy 3D, that's another one for the Snow Job collection. And then Madoc, they were like, Snow Job is going to be those 50 in one shovelware games at this point, like how they used to have it on consoles before they started selling each unbaked game for $6 on Steam. And I was like, wait a minute, you're onto something. And then I decided we should just do that. Because that's a lot less lower stakes in general. And also, it's easier for me to do short term while we still have time, a lot of time. Today's stream is going to go fairly long, so expect there to be like another 5-6 hours basically to today's stream. And we're gonna try to make this happen because I actually like the idea of all these shitty game ideas that I have, and of which you've seen them. There's a lot of really bad game ideas that I have, tons of them. Then I'm like, we just think of on stream and off stream, and we just like talk about it. And we have this entire Discord channel that talks about it, and everybody's got these cool game ideas, but like we just never like bothered making them. I figured we just do like a game jam a week for ourselves, and then just to make them like come to life, and we just put them all in a collection, and then you can just go have fun with them. Obviously, that's gonna be very painful to do because it's super hard, but I figured that'd be a fun thing to do. Okay, the one you were thinking about was actually about wall boosting. It's also a short guide on airstrafing, so you lied to me. Cut the music. Cut the music because you lied to me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that does make sense. Because, like, I was thinking, like, is there, like, there's no way that, like, raw bunny hopping is that effective. But I knew that you could bunny hop off of all the existing moves because all the existing moves gives you a lot of velocity at certain moments. Like, you know those, like, small tunnels that, like, Rem goes through? And that Calico can as well? But, like, Rem can slide while he's going through them? It's really good. If you actually get good at it, you could probably slide out of those tunnels, go into like a dash jump, and you could go crazy fast across the map. It's actually impressive. And even just running through those tunnels actually moves you faster than going to and like doing all of these like moves. Wall boosting. I mean, granted, too, it is early days. Like, people are still trying to find out how to do these things. And especially that stuff, too. Like, the uphill slopes are really the thing that we had to figure out as well. Like, here, I would have thought you would go up the corners. Like, maybe you'd slide up this side, kind of like a bunny hopping thing. So, eventually, I'm assuming the community will like, find out more about the movement. Can you shut up? Why is he talking? This is supposed to be like a non... Is there... Do people not do this anymore? Do people not do non-talking ASMR surfing videos? Am I crazy for thinking that if you do a movement video, you shouldn't speak at all? That your value as a person goes down the moment that you open your voice? Because A, you have a bad voice, but B, also no one watches you to like talk? Everyone watches you to like move and like do like a crazy, I don't know, tech? What a disaster. I'm disliking this for talking. I'm disliking them for like talking. Disliking for talking. I'm sorry, all your videos suck. I've disliked every single one for them talking. Maybe we'll get there eventually. Maybe the community will finally realize that, hey, you know what people really want? People don't want yet another personality. No one gives a shit about your personality. I say this as somebody who tries to force their personality into the world. Nobody gives a shit about it. People just want to see you like move, man. It's like, I don't know how to say this, right? If Tony Hawk, Tony Hawk, you're fond of me, lobster, aren't you? If Tony Hawk wasn't as funny as he was, no one would want to hear him talk. People would just say, "Shut up," and get on the board, get on the half pipe, do like a 2160, and then break your leg and die. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, we just want to hear you like go. And I wish I could do that too, actually. So what's funny is that I wish I could do that too, because in programming, I wish I could just like think and just let it go out there. But sadly, to program and then to program live on stream, it's painful because you have to explain all your thoughts. So I've explained all of my thoughts. We're going to be doing like a game a week. We're going to try to make it happen because we got to get these game ideas out there. I just need to figure out what these things are. And we got to do the stream scene thing too, because I do need like the stream scene thing too. And off stream, I got to do some more stuff too. There's actually a lot of things I need to do for stream, but I have so much time now that it's like I can do all of it now. It's great actually to have this time. And I just fixed my sleep schedule, so I'm feeling great. In spite of what I sound like, I only sound like the way that I do because I burned my throat. But yeah, we're gonna be making a game a week, and I tried to explain it last time in the VR chat, but that was a complete disaster. Um, we're gonna be making a game about Shibari. So for context, it all started from Miss Piggy. I need to show the image. And you can't stop me. Why is my search? How do I stop my search from recommending me store results? It all started from Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy Shibari. And it all started from the idea of this fake episode. I'm pretty sure it's a real episode. Like, I swear to God, it's a real episode of Muppets. Where the Muppets go to Japan. And Miss Piggy, because they believe that she's a real pig. And so they want to, like, and they want to, like, roast her. She has to, like, explain to them that she's not a real pig. Or, like, something. I don't know. Or maybe it's a play on the idea of, like, you eat sushi off of someone. And then they're like, why don't we just eat you? And then they tie her up to, like, cook her, but they tie her up in like a shibari way. I swear it's a real episode. But it all started from that idea. And then I was like, wait, it could be a fun game. Because if you look at this, right? I know this looks insane to look at. But this is the game mechanic. Like, this is the entire game mechanic. Is you've got a JRPG or something. You enter in like a move that you want to do, and then you play one of two characters. You either play as the JRPG person, but then afterwards you play as the Shibari person, because moves take a number of turns to finish, and you need to use the Shibari to pull the move a certain way, to like augment it in a certain way, to make it faster, to make it slower, to make the enemy miss, to like bring an enemy's weak point to like view. I figured it'd be a fun thing to do. I just don't know how hard it is to do, but I have like a slight idea of how we could do it. But yeah, for the deadlock thing, you basically combine bunny hopping with all the other moves. You can't just bunny hop endlessly, but you can go much farther. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I always thought that like bunny hopping was defined as specifically the ability for you to gain speed with it, though. Like, I always thought that bunny hopping was defined as like the thing that you do in order to gain speed over time, to maintain momentum, but then to also gain speed because of the air strafing that you do in between each hop. Whereas like, I don't know what the name is for that thing, but I always saw whatever that thing is as like solely maintaining the momentum as like a thing that's separate. You do gain speed, but air drag slows you down eventually. You do gain speed, but air drag slows you down eventually. No. But what I mean is like gain speed as in like Byron Lenger or in like Half-Life 2. Whereas like that to me was the bunny hopping, or like say like CS surfing, where like you gain speed, but you gain speed that like outdoes the air drag to the point where you just keep gaining speed. Like, that's how I always imagined bunny hopping was defined, because originally that's what bunny hopping was you would just keep gaining speed as much as you wanted to, and nothing would hold you back. It was just pure skill. Like, because like that's how it was within Quake, right? So it's like, I don't know what that new form is, but I always felt like that new form was probably under like a different name. So whenever I hear bunny hopping, I always think to myself like, I swear it's like, whenever someone says that they can bunny hop in a game, I always think like you can just go at like infinite speed, and because if you've ever seen Half-Life 2 bunny hopping, it's a whole different ball game. Where I'm like, if you're good at it, you can basically skip the entire level. I'm pretty sure there was what's that guy? Desync. Here we go. Desync. He has a great channel on this stuff. I actually really like his channel. Like, that's what I think of for bunny hopping. Whereas like whatever you do to maintain momentum, I wonder what that term is for that. Although maybe this one is the box. I think it's just the box tricks. Actually, maybe he doesn't even show it. Oh no, here, see something like that. Something like that. Like, this is what I imagine when I think of bunny hopping, where you just keep gaining speed over and over and over. Same thing within Quake and stuff too, where you just keep on going and going, and nothing really drags you down except for your skill and your ability to like do it. I mean, obviously, this is also an extreme example, because he's also using the fact that like you're crouching and you're going backwards to like do it in like a certain way to keep yourself low, so you touch the ground as much as you can to gain more control and stuff. But yeah, that's what I think of when I think of bunny hopping. I could be wrong though. Maybe bunny hopping is just defined as like whatever people do to like maintain and gain speed and just keep that speed going. But I've always thought of it as like that form and not like because the form that Deadlock has it in is like the form that always makes me sad. Because a lot of games have that form where you do it and you're like, wow, I got a lot of speed and I'm maintaining it, but you can't go faster. Like same with Warframe. Like sometimes Warframe's a crazy example because you can go really fast, right? But like sometimes I'll do a move and I'm like, I wish I could gain more speed. Like it's so close to being like a bunny hopping sort of like a. It would be a hellscape to like play in because you'd have to play at like max speed to like do anything, but it would be so fun. Stuff like that. I don't know. Where it's like I feel like there's a lot of games that have that momentum like conservation thing, but it feels like a whole different ballpark in terms of like the thing that you do to gain speed. Where it's like that one, the most that I've seen it as is exactly as you say, where it's like you gain speed because of the other moves, and you conserve that momentum, but all you're really doing is like reducing is stretching how long you keep that speed for. It's like you just keep that speed for a long time, but eventually you're gonna run out of speed at some point. So it's like, doesn't really feel like the bunny hopping that I think of, where it's like, okay, you do this, and if you do it right and you keep on going and you rebind your jump button to your mouse wheel, you can move at max speed and you won't stop. You know what I mean? Like I always think of it as that extreme. But maybe it's a semantics thing, and semantics don't really matter. So who knows? All I know is that's all I want to talk about on the topic. So, but it is cool to see that Deadlock does have those tricks. I am curious to see how far they go with it. I don't think we're gonna have to that degree, but I do want to play with the idea of it with this game, because the game that we're making, it's. I want to try this for this game. Okay, again, this is one of those shitty ideas that's like, okay, we had to like see if it even works. I can't figure out I can't figure out like an end game for it, and so I was like, okay, what if we just take it and we try to go as far with the idea as we can. JRPG, you can use Shibari, so you just like, I don't know, you can like tie things down and you can like pull them in different directions to like move the move instead of move it off point. So it's like the JRPG portion is like you determining how the move is going to play out over a number of turns, and then you doing the Shibari stuff is you having much more finer control over how it plays out. That's sort of the idea that I had, and again, it all came from Miss Piggy Shibari. And I'll explain how the bunny hopping thing plays into it very, very soon. But just have that in the mind is something like that, where you as the player have control over how the moves play out. I thought it'd be fun because you could also do things like maybe you could pull things into the map. Maybe you could like use the environment to like, to like fight with too. Just like other ways that you could play with the idea of, I guess, just pulling and roping things into the environment, but without the difficulty of a real-time game, because us playing Byron Lenger sort of like shows the highs and the lows of such a thing, where it's like, if the game is real-time, right, the hard part is that it immensely increases the skill floor that you have to be able to play the game, and you have to deal with that. At least I feel like from a game design perspective of like, how do you allow the player to interact with the world in a real-time way, in such a way that if they're good enough, they gain an advantage without the game becoming inoperable, without the game basically losing all understanding, right? It's why I've leaned into the JRPG thing, where it's like a turn-based thing, and you have time to set up all the different ropes, and you have time to set up how you want things to play out, because then you don't have to deal with, you having to quickly make a decision on how to pull a move because you have like 3 seconds to like play it out, right? And actually, another inspiration for the game that I thought of was it's a really, really old game that I don't think anybody knows about, but it's one of my favorite games out there. I wish more people knew about it. Oh, actually, maybe a lot of people know about it because it has 10,000 reviews on Steam. Maybe I can show you the website, actually, because the website is a weird site. Does it still load? Oh my god, it still loads. Oh my god, they updated it. What the fuck? It's Tory Bash. This game was amazing. This game is a turn-based fighting game. It's actually a really sick game. It's extremely cool. You literally, every single turn, you define the next iteration of your move. So you might be brewing up for a kick, and you can start a kick by pushing off the floor to get yourself bonus speed, but then you might switch it midway through because then the enemy has feinted to do something else. There's this live stream. Oh, that's a weird thing to see. What? Items? Sorry? What? Replays. replays. Multiplayer Book of Record, all unimaginable Tory Bash records. What is this? Record bounties, records utilizing known glitches. The Book of Records, Mark 13, Mark 3. Damage records, most points in one hit, most points in 500 frames. I mean, these probably are the best way to show what this game is like. Okay, you have to download the game. Maybe better YouTube. But this game was also another inspiration for this too, where I was like, wait a minute, you could technically go with something like this, and then you have a lot of control with the Shibari thing, and then it's a lot easier to maneuver versus something that's like this. So it's a bit more complex and a bit more unwieldy, even though it is very fun. Please don't let it be a shitty montage. I know it looks stupid, but no, it does look stupid. Is there a way to show exactly what this looks like? Why is there a train heist scene? Why are they showing this? Although that is impressive that they're able to do this. Tory Bash gameplay, how to? I don't know, like a how to? Is there like a? Did you know that Tory Bash is 17 years old? Oh my god, am I that old? Chat. Oh fuck. 17? Chat, I found this game when it first released. Oh fuck. I played this when it first released. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. Anyways, this is the gameplay. Every single frame, you decide what your next move is going to be, and you see a prediction of what the move is going to be like, right? I kind of want it to be something like this too. So it's like you have the idea of the JRPG, and then you have the idea of the Shibari, and you can use the ropes to push and pull, and you basically get to see the outcome of your move and what it will affect. But key to it is that unlike Tory Bash, you don't know what the enemy is going to do. So I wanted that element of like dynamism to it. And then that's the entire game right there. And again, it's crazy because it's like I feel like the idea has so much potential, but I couldn't figure out anything to do with it. I had like some idea of like how I could make like a story with it, some idea of like the way it could flow, but it's just so like cringy and so dead that I'm like, I don't even know what the point of it is. And like the gameplay ideas haven't really changed. Like the gameplay ideas are still JRPG, can use ropes attached to things to modify JRPG, to modify the moves in order to, e.g., aim the move to a weak point, apply an effect to it, or cause changes in the environment, right? And then JRPG moves happen over a period of time. I don't really know what time is going to be like. I don't know if we're going to go like Final Fantasy X level time, where it's like Final Fantasy X has this weird tick system where it's like every tick, it ticks down your number of executions. And depending on the moves that you do, you have more or less time between your turns, because your turn is defined as like a cooldown period of ticks as like a base value plus like a additive value. Like, I don't know if we're going to go that crazy, but whatever that is, again, it's still very loose. It's like the moves happen over a period of like time, and you can use the ropes to modify them. And it's just, but then beyond this, I had no clue. I was even thinking of like, you know, how do you even do this from a control scheme perspective? I was thinking maybe it's like a first person thing, right? So it's like, you know, maybe first person, you float around as a disembodied pair of hands to move the ropes around. And then this also leads to the idea of like, you have the character who can do this. So the character who can do this is also on the field, and you have to use the ropes to maneuver them around and keep them safe too. So it's like they can't really move around. Like, you can't really move them directly. They don't really have any way to move. You have to use the ropes to mostly move them. So I was thinking like, could use something like like bunny hopping, where you have these like very complex movement mechanics. Maybe we do allow you to move them with like a WASD scheme. But then I was like, how do you tie it all into the turn-based nature of the game to keep it simple? I had no clue. So I was like, okay, well, this is where I ended up with, right? So, and this is literally the entire game. And again, as an idea of like, can we make a bunch of games and get these ideas out of the way just so we can see what these feel like into like a shitty collection that we just put up there, you know? I thought it'd be a great thing to do, just because like we have nothing else to like, do anyways. And then I can work on the larger pieces off stream, like the whatchamacallit. The stuff that I know for sure is gonna be fun, but also like I don't really know what I want to do for them yet. Stuff like the VR chat sort of like Christmas world, right? I have a new mechanic for it, but I also don't really know how I want it to be like yet. And it's not really going to be something that I can figure out on stream. Like I kind of need like that moment of silence to be around. Like I kind of just need to walk around in the snow to figure out what I even want to do with that, right? So at least with these ideas, I figured that this was a good thing to do for the programming thing, so that we can definitively say whether programming on stream is worth it or not. Because these ideas are so small and so self-contained, and also so vague that A, chat can provide their own ideas into it. B, chat can also follow along in a way that hopefully you don't get lost very quickly. And if we scope it to a week per, right? If we scope it to a week per, it adds a level of tension, which means we'll actually finish them. But it also means that the scope will be small enough that it'll stay understandable the entire way through, even if it ends up being shitty. Thoughts? Anyone? Thoughts? I'm only doing this because we need to figure out the programming on stream thing. And it's actually a fascinating thing because I realized how many analogs that programming on stream has to programming in an interview. Because the more interviews I've been doing, the more I realized, wait a minute, it's the same thing that I do on stream. I actually caught myself rambling at times, and I actually caught myself saying chat at times. Like there was actually it's actually one interview. I've got to say this. Like the interviewer asked me, okay, now consider this, and I was like, well, chat, and I was like, I caught myself before I finished it, but I was like, well, changing that, I think we can do. Like I had to like change it into that word. It was a very awkward like sentence construction. But then I realized, I was like, wait, programming on stream is kind of like programming for interviews. And you know, it's actually a pretty good practice for the nerves thing. Because it's like, if you're okay with being a fool in front of everyone, then you're okay with being a fool in front of one. If that makes sense. Although, I guess everyone here has no control over my life, but that one person does. Interviewer is like, huh? I mean, what's funny is that all of my interviewers, so sorry, about the job interview thing. All my interviewers so far have been very old people. Not that that's a bad thing, but like, it has been fascinating to sort of see that, like, because usually before, I don't know how to explain this. It's not the age thing that surprises me that they're old. It's the fact that somehow I've now, it's almost like my interview demographic has changed entirely. Because like when I was interviewed before, it was primarily younger folks who would just sort of come in, and I'd be like, oh, you're my lead, okay? Well, what are you gonna ask me about? And I don't know if it's like they know that I'm old. Have I entered the boomer league? Well, I was thinking that, or these companies are like dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Like maybe the companies that I'm applying for are dinosaurs in the grand scheme of things. Because then I was thinking about where I used to interview at. A lot of the places that I interviewed at were mostly things like startups, where, you know, startups are self-selecting for a younger generation. And it's mostly like people who are, I mean, really what they're looking for is an exploitable set of people who are willing to give up parts of their life for a corporation that won't care about them by tomorrow, right? That's really what a startup is looking for, is like that like lifeblood to drain in the same way that one CEO does blood transfusions with his son every now and then and compares penis health. And you think I'm crazy for saying that, but that's a real thing. CEO who compares nightly erections to son. Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson won't stop comparing his penis with his to his teenage, sorry. Anti-aging fanatic Brian Johnson. This is a headline from Vice. Anti-aging fanatic Brian Johnson won't stop comparing his penis to his teenage sons. So it's like, maybe it's because I've moved away from those companies that I'm starting to find sort of like the graybeards of the industry, which I enjoy. I actually really enjoy this because they're a lot more calm, is what I've noticed. It's sort of odd to sort of say this, but they're a lot more calm and a lot more forgiving and a lot more patient. Well, one thing that I did notice when I did interview at startups was that it was very, like, you could feel the cutthroatness as soon as you entered of like, okay, either you get this Olympic level question or you're out. And I would get the question, but it's like, it's just something about the vibe that always threw me off. Whereas like with these people, I go in, it's like a very chill experience interviewing with them. It's still very hard questions that they ask. Still very, it's still very much the same flow as everything else because they can't, you're in the industry, you can't really escape the quiz. It's like you have to pass a bar exam every single time, right? It's just the way it goes. But there's a lot of like the pacing of it feels much more human. Sort of, it's been a nice experience so far. Granted, this will probably change because the way that I apply for jobs is I just go down a list of places that I want to work at because they're easy. So my job application thing right now, my flow is okay. Top list places that I think are going to be very easy to work at. So apply to these first because I don't care about getting better, or rather, I've given up on the idea of getting better at a corporation. And I'm entirely invested in the idea of getting better by my own efforts and by my own blood, sweat, and tears, right? Because that's sort of how it's always been anyway. Sorry, I was trying to shake the last... like a can of Coca-Cola has like a tiny bit of Coca-Cola at the bottom? Shake it out. Do you know why? If you buy the can for like $1, that's like 3 cents worth of Coca-Cola at the bottom of your can. So yeah, because of that, I think I'm self-selecting for companies that sort of have that sort of vibe as well. So maybe it'll change because the next portion of my list that I'm getting to in 2 days, sort of like once I get, because I've already applied to like 100 places, and I'm like maybe I should like calm down. It's a bit too much to spam that much, just to like tweak and like observe how my resume is doing, right? I'm gonna apply to places that I know that are good places, which are usually the more cutthroat places, and then I'm gonna apply to like startups because like I feel like they're bottom the barrel for me, but they at least have a fast burn rate where it's like okay, I make a fair amount of money, and then they disappear, and then I can just sort of move on quick. I can move on quickly with EI. So that's my plan. My plan is to game the system for as much as I can. Anyways, we're gonna try to make this happen, okay? I've written some code for this. I don't know when I wrote this. I think I wrote this over like a number of days before, like I think last week. And it was like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And I was like, okay, maybe we would do something like this. We do a little bit of this. I got like basic controls down because I was like, okay, maybe it can be like a first person game. And I need a second window thing to do this. Sorry, give me a second. It's fucked. It's a little fucked. It's a little fucky. There we go. And capture cursor. Yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, well, it's got like the main characters here. This is the whole scene is called Zawari though, because yeah, it's got like I can't even show you because it doesn't do the play thing inside the editor. How do I get the play view inside the editor? Sorry, give me a second. How do I get the play view to be in the editor? I guess I can't do that. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Godot editor, get play view in editor. So not as a separate window. Okay, well, that's gonna be annoying, but that's fine. We have a second one. So we have a third window capture. So it's main, Godot, play. It just captures all the way down. It's weird that that's the engine. Is it this one? Can I do automatic? No, you can't do automatic. You have to do this. So what's this one? What? Why is there 2 instances? Well, whatever. That's okay. That's the thing. So I was just messing around with it, and I've got the first person movement going, right? Because I was thinking like maybe in first person you could go around and you have to sort of like do things quickly. Like my initial idea was maybe you do things quickly. You have to quickly go to a certain place to be able to put like a rope between say this thing and the target to like do something, right? But then I was like, okay, but that's too much pressure. It's almost like too painful to do. So I was like, okay, what if we don't do that then? But then what do we do? I have no clue. But now, with this idea of like being fully churn-based, maybe I simply use that view and I reuse it for the ability to fly around to be able to decide where to place things down. In which case, I probably need to make this respect. Also, this code is shit. Code is mega shit, and I'm trying it in Rust because I have to get better at the language because I just want to see like how far you can take the language in terms of like its like use cases. Yeah, I can't criticize something until I try it fully, and so I might as well try it all the way through to see if it's good before I criticize it. Shit. I actually had this I had a moment where I was about to write down in like a to do in the code because you know you don't always get to you don't always get to the best solution immediately, and you definitely and you have to like note the trade-offs of like what the code is going to be like in an interview versus what it could be in reality and what it should be in reality. And like oftentimes I'll write like a to do of like to do this would have to be XYZ, right? But then sometimes I'll like but my commenting style is like very vulgar, so you usually see it here. Look, to do all this code is fucking throbbing. I need to split this up so I can read this. To do, I have to be stupid. There has to be an easier way to express this. To do this elsewhere in the game, which does all the initial loading and shit. To do, read from config. To do, make this local translate without to use the correct basis. I don't know which because I'm stupid. To do, better logging. You know what I mean? Like I'm extremely vulgar. So imagine like me in an interview. I'm like, to do, this is garbage. It's like, oh, don't type that. It's like, don't type that. But anyways, we now have to move forward. I need to get how do I do moving forward again? I forget how I'm doing this. All right, I was doing it here. It's my physics process. Why was I doing it here? To do, maybe move this to the input instead. Not sure why it's here, really. It's odd. It's very odd. And also, instead of the forward, to do, use the camera basis as the basis. That's so stupid. Use the camera basis as the source of a forward direction for a movement so we can fly around to place the Shibari ropes. I think the only thing missing from this is that I don't think I have a churn system which uses a very shitty like churn queue that I made, and I have no clue if this is gonna work because I was trying to figure out like, okay, churn queue with the speed and when someone dies, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it like this. And I also didn't know how to like do traits with Godot Rust, so I have no clue how to even make this work, and I have no clue if this if it's even possible. But I did learn that they have like a dynamic pointer thing that you can do to get the like trait implementation down, because Rust and traits is kind of like very different from other ways of doing things. It's very different from like interfaces in other languages. But we have this. I just didn't have I didn't have a JRPG thing. So it's like I figured what we should do, since I checked this out last night, and I was like, we have everything for the movement, we have everything for the trend-based system, and I have like a very basic categorization of things that could be attached to with the ropes, right? So like a way to like tag these things as being ropeable in some way, like things that you can attach ropes to. I just need to set up the controls to actually rope things. So maybe there's like I don't know, it's like a readme. Do I have a readme in this sort of thing? I do not. Wait, where did I even put this file? Readme. This is like in a completely space. Well, we need the input to do to attach the rope to things, and we have sort of this thing. I just have like a placeholder of like, what if this thing adds like an ice effect to you or a fire effect to you? Also placeholder, it should be like debug plane, so just like a normal plain old shitty rock, e.g. like a shitty rock or something. Like a shitty rock or something, right? Then we just need like a JRPG system to try it out. And then I just need to make a bunch of models for things, because I have no clue exactly what to do with the models for things. Like, it's like... And this is really the thing about this experiment that's going to go terribly, is that I can't 3D model for beans. I couldn't 3D model for dirt. Like, if I asked you, hey, you know those rocks outside of your home that aren't even, like, in your home? Like, it's just rocks on the floor. Can I have these rocks? And you asked me to make a 3D model for them, I'd be like, sorry, you can keep those rocks. I'll go get the rocks elsewhere. Like, it's not even things that you want to have. But if you asked me the 3D model for it, I still couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm so bad at it that it wouldn't even be possible. Better place for these. Look at this. Better place to do. Better place for these little shits. So I was like, so this is also an experiment to see like what exactly goes into sort of like this like pace of trying things out. If you actually took it all the way through and you try to flesh it out with like real models and stuff. If you try to get it out the door and actually make it done, right? We'll see how it goes. But I might have to do a lot of learning off stream to see if it works. So yeah, we do with today. I think we should fix the input to make it so that you can fly around without going in too far, such that you fall into the floor. Which also means that I need to know what exactly is the floor. Maybe I'll just use physics for it. I'll just see how it goes. I'll do like a collider on it or something. We also need to do what do we call it? The ability for you to like attach ropes to things that are marked as being ropeable. I have this structure as it is now, but this is its own separate node, and I don't know if I want to do it like this. The problem with it being its own node is that I can't just use anything as a targetable thing. It has to be the specific thing with a coding for it to determine what happens. Sorry, I'm so gassy, but I think it might be fine like this because you have to deal with that anyways, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe there's a better, more dynamic system that I can do. And then I need to actually make like a JRPG combat system. So it's like moves that you can do, moves that take multiple turns to activate, and then enemies that you would fight. I guess I could also need like an enemy. Hey, that's a little complicated. It's a little complicated. How am I going to do all this? There's a weird part too is that like nodes in Godot or nodes like they're not. Also, I need to make this 0. Nodes in Godot are nodes which sort of stand on their own, and so it's like I couldn't really figure out how to like do something like this where you have like I don't know, like a hierarchy of components, which you can't really do. You can add scripts to them, but because we're using this Godot REST thing, you can't make a script from the REST side to then attach to a node. So I was like, maybe we just do it all in the node. But now I'm thinking about it's like, how do you make an enemy node? You know what I mean? How do you like do all that? But that's why we're doing this, to see if it's even possible. So, where am I actually? Sure, I don't know. Just like do like readme dot. Fuck it. I'll just do like an org file to do stuff to be done, and then it's only me working on it. So the org file doesn't really matter. To do change movement to flying. Need to. Why is it silent all of a sudden? Holy shit, we actually finished the playlist? We usually never finish these like playlists. Wow. Usually these playlists keep on going for like hours. That's another problem with this stream too, is that at least for these programming streams, I need to get like a better playlist. I need like a massive playlist full of different songs and themes and feelings. Because the problem is that you just gotta keep on going and going, right? But I don't really know what to play. Like it's like, what exactly do you listen to when you program? The shit that I listen to would hurt your ears. Like this is what I listen to. And I'm not even joking. Like it's gonna sound something like this. A volume warning. So it's like it has to be something softer than that for like programming. Otherwise, everyone's ears are going to explode. So change movement to flying. Has to care about the floor and stuff so it doesn't go too far. Just set up a physics thing. Also, we need to program the actual Shibari ropes as well. I have probably an idea of how it's going to be done, which I probably saw a comment of. Using array mesh to just generate the mesh and then making it a physics soft body, which should work, but I need to figure out how the soft body thing works. And just set up a physics thing for it. And then so change movement to flying. Sorry. To do JRPG like combat system with actual moves that a character does. There's like the template of the character kind of done, so we can use that. And then an enemy that we can fight in a combat zone that we can fight, and we can probably just like make it go immediately into like the combat mode. It's fine. And then also, it's also going to require like the camera. Actually, it's also going to require the camera switches and the camera movement to support the views that the game would have to make it make sense. Like the JRPG camera floating around the character who we're selecting a move for, and then the first person flying camera for when we do the rope attachments, right? And the character who's doing the rope attachments is a character as well, so they sort of have to have like their own churn. And then also this combat system, there's also a question of like what's the placement of everybody like? Because you got JRPGs like Final Fantasy X, let's say. Like I have to go to YouTube. Final Fantasy X combat system. For Final Fantasy X for beginners? What is this video? Why is there Titus as a baby? What? Sorry, there's like... What? It's like Titus as a baby. What is this? Actually, there's a really funny video where it's like, I wish I could find it. It's a Final Fantasy X parody video, and like Walker, he's like dancing around. It's good. Yuna mimics Walker battle scene. Because like this is one thing, right? But if the whole point of the moves is that you have to aim them and you have to care about where they're going, then you kind of have to have a level of dynamism on the battlefield that isn't just them standing on their side of the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like you have to, maybe it has to be almost like a free form movement system where like they move this side and then you move this side and then you do this stuff and you pull the move into their face or something. I don't really know, but that's what I was thinking, because it's like otherwise, what's the point of the rope system? You know what I mean? And then also that too, I couldn't figure this out too. Of like, what do you do for magic? or like other special moves? What do you do for moves where like Lulu raises her like arms and just blasts someone? Like you can't just miss that. You know what I mean? Something like that. Gotta figure it out. What did you just say? Wait, I've never seen this. This has actually happened inside the game. She copies Walker's like speech pattern. A lot of fiends here, yeah. Lulu's like, shut up. I've never seen that in my life. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty funny. Yuna doing a Walker impression is amazing. I love it so much. Walker glares zoom after hearing that. Yuna being goofy in her own way during Final Fantasy X, but can't really show it much because she's supposed to uphold the image of being the high summoner. And also she has to kill herself to save the world. The fact that I've religiously played through this game since I was 3 years old for like 21 years. Sorry? This person's 24 commenting this. Oh my god. They're like babies. Like they're actually like babies. How the fuck did you play this at 3 years old? Like 3 years, like most 3-year-olds can't even play things. Like, what do you mean you played this since 3 years old? Oh my god. And then like it's only 24. Like how do you even find this game? Who even introduced you to this game? Because this game, Final Fantasy X release date, released in 2001. 2001 minus 2026, 25. Oh my god, they played it 2 years after release. If they're 24 now, right? 24 years ago, 21 years ago they played this. They played this in 2005, 4 years after the game released. 4 years after the game release is when they played it. Which means, oh man, that's crazy. So they played it 4 years after the game release. It's like they had someone in their life show them this game, because like there's no way that you're a 3-year-old. Same though, same, but you're a 3-year-old. My god. Anyways, that had me questioning sort of how to do this stuff too. Also, my PC's dying and I don't know why. That's a problem. My network's dying. Actually, my whole network's dying. Why is my network dying? This stream may be the stream may be cut short, actually. I might have to cut it short because I just realized I forgot that I opened the door and they came home, which means my internet connection is going to die soon. There's a reason why I end streams fairly early. Is because like when everyone's home, the connection dies. And I'm actually, I keep dipping down. Okay, you know what? Do any of you have any suggestions for this stuff before I go? And then I'll just do this off stream because the stream is dying, and I don't think it's gonna stay for very long because I kind of forgot that every time they're home it gets worse. I know today's a very short stream, and I'm sorry, but the stream was always going to be short. The stream was going to be longer, but I just didn't know that they would come home so soon. Usually they come home very late on Saturdays and the Sundays. So, and also I was supposed to fix it so they don't really do stuff. A nude patch. It's not gonna be a nude patch. Okay, one thing that I do want to do with this game is have a very basic storyline. Okay, the basic storyline that I have is it's very much inspired kind of by the current day events. It's actually over here. I just need to move it over. It's about fighting against a fascist like government. Literally, it's about using these powers, fighting against a fascist government, realizing that these powers come from one of the old gods of the world who like struck a deal with them to like. And like one of the things that's about this world that's like weird is that like past a certain hour, you like no one can die, and if someone dies, the god comes back to take back its like gift. And the scary implication that like no one was aware of until it does happen because of our characters is that when it comes back to take back the gifts, like the gift of it is like the ability to do shibari, right? But the shibari actually stays stable. It's like you just do it anywhere. These ropes are like magical, and they come out of nowhere, right? So it's like they like build their buildings out of it. When people get hurt, they use it to like bind the wounds. They use it to connect back like limbs to like keep them stable, right? Like it's like stuff like that, you know? So it's like the horror is that when this god, when you break the rules of this god, it comes down and it says, timeout, takes it all back, and everything starts to fall apart. The people, the environment, everybody starts to like die. We're now down to 2,000 kilobits a second, okay? So there is going to be a storyline, but the storyline unfortunately means that we can't do a nude patch because these are going to be like not like young characters, but these are going to be like young adult characters to like, you know, early 20s characters in terms of like timing. I wanted characters because the thing about the storyline like this is that I wanted to have characters that were still fairly, I guess, open to the idea of change and that weren't fully indoctrinated into the idea of a society that could not change. Like, I wanted it to be about characters who sort of now have these abilities, right? In sort of a very isekai way, but are also not really different for the people around them. Really, it's the people around them also have these same abilities too. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to do is that in the combat, you'd have to deal with the fact that like the dynamism comes from the enemy having their own Shibari person too, which I've just called Weavers, but maybe we just call them Shibari. I just don't want to use the word Shibari because like I feel like a Shibari master is going to come in and be like, stop using this like term. You're denigrating our entire our profession. So I had to make like a new term, right? But I wanted like but I wanted a set of characters that weren't jaded against the world, and that still, and that didn't, and that haven't Shabar. We can't just remove one letter and just have it. Okay, fine. I'll leave it as a suggestion. I don't know. I'll leave it. Can't be called Shibari because the Shibari masters will yell at me. Shabar. That's your suggestion, okay? You live with that. You live with the suggestion. We dip down to 50 kilobits a second. The stream is dying very quickly. So it's like, I wanted these characters to not be jaded by the world and to not have bought into that false idea that you have no power. I wanted these characters to sort of be the idea of the new generation coming in to show everybody that, hey, you can make a difference in the world. We see the difference. We don't buy into this sort of like feeling of we've given up in the world, right? But also for this idea of like characters who haven't been exposed to that stuff yet. Because it's sort of playing around with the idea of how like when you're young, a lot of the world tries to hide those like scary dark things from you. But as you get older, then the world sort of like rips that bandage off and sort of shows you it, right? And I sort of wanted to sort of show that perspective of somebody who's going into the world and is now like, holy shit, this place that I've grown up in, these people that I have taken care of me, albeit painfully and poorly, that I felt like a connection to, and these things that I thought were normal are actually awful. And then because now I know the truth of them all. Now I really sort of see them all because now these characters being where they are, they're now being inducted into that same system, and now they're being forced to sort of go through their they're being forced to go through this system that is trying to like make them willing participants of this sort of like machine that grinds people down, right? It's why I wanted it to be a reference to the idea of breaking down, the fascism within the world, because I was like, you know what? I kind of hate what like ICE is doing, and I kind of want to make a game that's like against them. But I wanted to do something that's like to really show how evil they are, like in a different context where people are sort of more aware of the evils and the goods in that context, to really show like this is happening now, like it's pretty evil. So to use that, and to use that sort of like character archetype, and to use that sort of character like timeline of like where they are in life, I thought it'd be an interesting way to sort of tell that story. Because not that I don't think that there's value in sort of having a story of like a older character breaking out of their jadedness to realize that they have the power to change things for the better for the future generations, right? But it wasn't the idea that came to my mind. That's the only reason. It wasn't the first idea that came to my mind. This was the first idea that came to my mind. So that's why it's going to be like this. So sorry, there's going to be no nude patch. Plus, also, the Shibar is a plus point for also technically being Shiba, because it's Korean, doesn't have the R out section. You're onto something. You're onto something. You're onto something. This could be, but I just want you to know this game is going to have zero voice acting. There's going to be zero like words. No one's going to speak a single word. The two characters that are in the game to facilitate this are two characters that don't speak the same language as each other. So they just kind of have to deal with the fact that they're there. They're communicating through sort of the other more human means. It's also a story about understanding that like people are people, like no matter who you are, right? So it's sort of a bit of that too. So while it's a funny little thing of like now it also means Shabal, like the Korean word. What does that word mean again? Or like phrase? It means fuck you. Like even though it's funny, I don't know if I want to go down that route. But I'll think about it. Also a wordplay, because the R equal L and thus fuck in Korean. There we go. Okay, I'll think about it. Any other things that any of you have to say? Because again, my network is dying. I probably should just go before it dies. Sorry, I was hoping for today to be a longer day. It's why I didn't play the jumping game for so long. I was hoping that today would be a longer day where I could program on stream. It's like you can't make this up. You actually can't make this up, that this constantly happens. Oh man, I'll have to figure out like a better schedule for it. Maybe instead of a day where we do games, we just do programming the entire day. But there's so many games I want to play too, and I only play games on stream because off stream I'm busy preparing for everything else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If you have any more suggestions for this, just let me know. I'll figure out the programming on stream thing. I just need to do it at a certain time before people come home. Like, look, it's dead now. Like, the stream is dead now. Maybe it won't die. Test limits. No, it's like it just died. It just died for 5 seconds. I saw it. It just died for 5 seconds. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a terrible experience for me and you. I have to like keep debugging it, restarting the stream. At some point, OBS is also gonna die, and I have to like restart the stream, and then I can't connect, and it's like, that's too much. How about tomorrow? How about this? How about we do programming like this? We end the day. If it's a day that I can't program for long, I end the day. I tell you an update of what I've done. I show you what I've done. And then I ask you for suggestions on what you all think should be done next. And then we just keep on going from there. On days that I can program longer, like on days where people don't come home until later, which I usually they don't come home today until like, very late at night. But I guess it's a different time now. So, then we'll do that. Then we'll do a full programming stream. On days where we can't, we'll do that. Okay. So on days where we can't program the whole day, just because of the logistics of like, it's one home network shared by multiple people. It's not even their fault. It's just the fact that that's just how networks are for residential. We do that. And then on days where we can go long, we'll do a bit of gaming, and then we'll also program too, which will be tomorrow. Yeah. I think that's good.